Okay, let's dive right in. If you're a longtime VMware pro, and I mean a long-time pro, you've probably been having some interesting conversations lately. Well, this explainer is for you. Think of it as a veteran's guide for that journey from the cozy, familiar world of ESXi over to Microsoft's Hyper-V. You know, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that feeling of standing at a crossroads. You've spent years, maybe even a decade, mastering one ecosystem, and now you're looking over the fence wondering, what's life really like over there?
And that's the thing, right? On the surface, it all looks the same. I mean, it's virtualization. You've got VMs, clusters, storage, it's all there. But the moment you start clicking around in Hyper-V, you get this weird feeling that your muscle memory is just wrong. The logic feels different, things are just a little off. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
So first things first, let's tackle the elephant in the room. Why are so many seasoned pros even having this conversation? I mean, for years, VMware was the undisputed king. It's not like people are moving just for fun. There are some serious external forces pushing this whole topic to the front burner.
Well, here's the big catalyst. It all really kicked into high gear with the Broadcom acquisition of VMware. That sent shockwaves through the industry, and suddenly everyone's looking at their licensing bills with a magnifying glass. All of a sudden, Hyper-V isn't just some other option, it's a financially sane one. And here's the real kicker. If you're already paying for Windows Server Data Center licenses for your VMs, you've basically already paid for Hyper-V. It's included. That makes the math very interesting.
All right, let's get to the real heart of the matter. If you walk away with just one single thing from this entire explainer, I want it to be this. To truly get Hyper-V, you have to stop thinking of it as a direct competitor to ESXi. You have to start seeing it for what it is, a citizen of the Windows universe.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Think about it. With VMware, you install ESXi, a purpose-built bare metal hypervisor, right on the hardware. It is the operating system. With Microsoft, it's totally different. You install a full-blown Windows Server OS first, and then you just enable Hyper-V as a role. It's not a standalone thing, it's a feature of a much larger platform. That's a huge philosophical difference.
And the setup process just hammers this point home, doesn't it? Step 1, install Windows. Step 2, add the Hyper-V role. You're not booting into some sleek hypervisor management console, you're booting into Windows, and you're using standard Windows tools to manage it. This changes everything about how you interact with the host itself.
Here's a perfect example of that mindset shift in action. In the VMware world, you build a vSphere cluster. Simple. But in the Microsoft world, what you're really building is a Windows Failover Cluster. This is a technology that's been around for ages, keeping things like SQL Server and file shares highly available. You're just telling that existing cluster framework, hey, the thing I need you to keep online is the Hyper-V role. And the main tool you'll be living in for this is Failover Cluster Manager. Not exactly a dedicated virtualization UI, is it?
Okay, so we've got the philosophy down. Now let's talk about the real-world, practical challenges. These are the spots where your years of hard-won VMware expertise might actually trip you up, simply because the approach is flipped on its head.
Oh man, networking. This is a big one. In VMware, you live and breathe vSwitches and port groups, right? It's how you keep all your traffic nice and segmented. Hyper-V pushes you toward a concept called switch-embedded teaming, or SET. The idea is you bundle a bunch of your physical network cards into one big resilient team. Then you create virtual NICs on top of that team for management, for live migration, and for your VMs. And here's the huge gotcha. SET is switch independent. It doesn't use LACP. So if your network team is used to configuring static port channels for your ESXi hosts, you're going to need to have a little chat with them. It's a completely different way of doing things.
So what about getting your actual VMs from one platform to the other? The good news is, for most of your standard application servers, V2V conversion tools work great. But, and listen to me on this, for your critical infrastructure, especially domain controllers, just don't do it. Rebuild, don't convert. The risk of some weirdness happening during the conversion is just too high. The safest path, the one that lets you sleep at night, is to build a fresh new VM on Hyper-V and migrate the roles over properly.
Disaster recovery. If you're a big fan of VMware's Site Recovery Manager for that clean push-button failover, you'll find Hyper-V doesn't really have a direct one-to-one equivalent built in. You get awesome building blocks like Hyper-V Replica for basic manual failover, but for that true orchestrated, the whole data center's on fire failover, you're probably looking at a third-party solution like Zerto, or you're diving into the much bigger Microsoft System Center suite with SCVMM, which is, well, that's a whole other beast to learn.
So,
We've talked about the big picture and the technical tripwires. Let's switch gears and build a survival guide. What are the concrete, actionable steps you can take to make this transition as smooth as it can possibly be?
This right here might be the most valuable advice in this entire explainer. Build a lab. Seriously. Get some spare hardware, even if it's old and dusty. Build a little 2-node cluster. Configure the networking. Play with the storage. Try to break it. The lessons you learn from breaking things in a safe space are infinitely more valuable than anything you can ever read in a document. It's all about hands-on, trial and error.
Coming from the beautiful, unified world of vSphere, the Hyper-V management experience can feel a little scattered. You'll find yourself jumping between Hyper-V Manager, then over to Failover Cluster Manager, and other tools. The solution isn't to fight it, it's to embrace it. Immerse yourself in the whole Windows toolkit. And most importantly, embrace PowerShell. In the Microsoft world, PowerShell isn't just a scripting tool for automation. It is the primary interface for advanced configuration. Mastering it will be your absolute superpower.
Okay, lean in for this one. This is a piece of insider knowledge that can save you from a very, very bad day. When you run the cluster validation wizard in Windows, some of the storage tests can briefly take your storage offline to make sure it can fail over correctly. In a lab, that's no big deal. But if you do that on a production cluster with live VMs, yeah, that's a painful lesson to learn the hard way. So, rule number 1, always run your validation before you put that shiny new cluster into production.
Let's bring this all home. As we've seen, this whole journey from VMware to Hyper-V is so much more than just learning new buttons in a different GUI. It demands a fundamental shift in how you think about your virtual infrastructure, right down to its very foundation.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. Once you stop trying to make Hyper-V act like ESXi and you start accepting it for what it truly is, a powerful, deeply integrated feature of the Windows Server platform, everything starts to click. You stop fighting its differences and you start leveraging its unique strengths.
So, the final question is really this. The challenge isn't just about learning new CMLets or networking concepts. The real switch is mental. By embracing a totally different philosophy of virtualization, you're not just learning a new product. You're expanding your skills, you're becoming a more versatile, well-rounded architect who can choose the right tool for the right job, no matter what it is. And isn't that what being a veteran is all about?